Hey guys, what's up? It is Josh here, your Friday guy on Transwolves. Sorry, it's not actually Friday. I had work yesterday and then I had a lot of pain in my wrist and I was really tired, so I'm making it this morning. This week we are talking about mental health. So I'm going to talk about my experience with mental health. And how I've been dealing with it since I came out as transgender when I was 14. So, I started going to gender therapy when I was 14 and a half, and that's when I first got diagnosed with two different disorders. I got diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, which is basically when I get anxious about anything and everything. I can get anxious about getting to work on time. I can get anxious about somebody dying. I can get anxious about just like something very, very small. But my anxiety, the amount of anxiety I have is the same for all those events. No matter how big each of those events are. So, like, you'd think that you'd have more anxiety about somebody dying than about getting to work on time. But for me, I have the same anxiety about both. Like, my anxiety is, like, times 10 about, like, everything. And I can't really control it. I'm always anxious about everything. And I also got diagnosed with major depressive disorder, and I don't really know as much about that because I didn't really look into it as much. I didn't think it affected me as much as generalized anxiety disorder did. I guess my therapist just knew when I came in that I was really sad and just depressed, and she could see that as soon as I came in the door before even talking to me. And I had no idea. So I don't really deal with that as much anymore, though. After starting testosterone and socially transitioning, physically transitioning, that's pretty much gone away. I still get my bouts of depression, but they're really not that bad. But my anxiety disorder is still constantly here, and it's always a pain in the ass, and it doesn't ever leave me alone. So those are the two big disorders, and then I have ADHD, which just I take medication for that, and it does a pretty good job. When I don't take it, it kind of really I have a hard time focusing, and I laugh at a lot of things that don't need to be laughed at. Just like stupid things, immature things, and then I laugh for no reason. And then I laugh a lot more when I get tired, when I don't have my meds. So, how I deal with my disorders is I just take medication. I was in therapy for 3 years. The main reason I was in therapy, though, was for gender. I was in gender therapy when I started. That's the whole reason I started going, was because I knew I needed to go for me to get my testosterone letter and my surgery letter. And so that's when I got diagnosed, and then we kind of talked about those problems as well, like the anxiety and depression, but not that much. And then I got a psychiatrist who was in the same building as my therapist, who did the prescribing of the medication, and then she's the one that I talked to more about the about the other disorders besides the gender. And then for ADHD, I talked to my regular doctor, because they're the ones that prescribe me that medication. Well, now my regular doctor prescribes all my medications, so I just talk to them about all of my medications now. As far as like self-care and stuff goes, when I'm anxious, I play video games. That I found that really calms me down. I've just found that out recently though, because I didn't play many video games before August when I got my Wii U system. And then when I started playing it before work, I realized that it was really helping me take my mind off of what time it was, enough that I wouldn't be anxious, but not enough so I wasn't paying any attention at all. So like I knew what time I needed to leave, and I was paying enough attention that I knew like what time it was, but my mind wasn't 100% focused on the clock. So that's really helped me. I've tried music and that worked for a little while, but eventually it stopped working. Music works really well for me if I have anxiety about doing my testosterone shots, though. Other than that, when I had a lot of depression, I just slept a lot, and avoided people, but that's not really the self-care. That was more of the just depression was making me do that. I didn't really have any self-care tips at that point. I was just kind of on my own. I mean, I have my mom and everything, but she didn't really know what to do. So I kind of just slept, skipped school, and yeah. As far as ADHD goes, I just take my medication, and if I'm hyper, then I'm hyper, and I try to do something, like if I'm at work and I forgot my medication or I didn't have enough medication so I didn't get to take it, then I'll ask if there's something I can do while I don't have a customer, like cleaning something so I can move around and be productive at the same time. So that works. If I'm at home and I forget my medication, then it doesn't really matter. I'm just really hyper, and people just have to deal with it at my house. Yeah. I don't have much else to say besides that. I hope this video was okay. I'm still kind of groggy and tired because I just woke up. But yeah. I guess that's it. I will see you guys next Friday. Peace.